Alright, so I know I haven't made a video in a while, and I don't even know. Yeah, this is more or less on a whim. But I am in the process of making one of Abby's Christmas presents because in our house right now, we have a really, like, the kitchen is not terribly sized, but the counter spacing is atrocious. So, I have been tasked with making like a kitchen island that can basically, it's a counter on wheels that can be rolled into the middle of the kitchen when we're needing it for cooking space, then can be rolled into the corner when we don't need it, just so we're not taking up a ton of space. So I decided earlier this week that today was the day I was going to do it because we're getting close to Christmas-ish, and I have put it off way too long. So I'm going to need some 2x4s, the countertop material, which fortunately there's a restore really close to here, so I can go pick it up there for dirt cheap. And I need some casters to put on the bottom of it so it can wheel around. The good news is I have a great vehicle for transporting all this stuff. The bad news is, as I'm sure you've noticed in the background, it's raining, which is not great weather for transporting this stuff. So today, while I'm at Lowe's, I'm also going to need to grab a tarp. Alright, I just got back to my house. I wasn't able to get quite everything I needed. I really thought the Restore was going to have a better selection of casters than that. I got what they had. But I'm going to need to go out and get new casters. Also, since my tarp is not as long as the wood, you can see it's wet from here up. So I kind of want to give that at least a little bit of a chance to dry. But in the meantime, I am going to eat lunch because it's that time of day. Unload this so it can dry, and like I said, I'll need to head out and try to figure out the wheel situation. Alright, back home. Got the pieces. I ended up, I was at Menards, and I found these casters here, which have the distinct advantage of being lockable. So combine that with these guys, so there will be one set of spinning wheels, one set of not spinning wheels, and that should be able to make a functional island thing. I also switched over to my big camera instead of using my phone because it feels less weird walking around my own house with a giant camera. Oh, also I had to set up that light because the lighting in my garage is atrocious. This is literally just one LED for this whole garage, so I've got that whole mess. Fun times. Alright, so now that we've got all the supplies, finally, how's all this getting assembled? Well, the basic design is simple. Take your countertop, screw 4 legs to the bottom, and attach wheels to those. However, that would be about as stable as a typical Hollywood relationship. Therefore, added support is in order. We'll start with the countertop as before, but we'll add some 2x4s. The legs and wheels will follow as before. And finally, a few ankle braces for support. And then we're done. But there is one little detail we need to take care of first. You see, this piece of countertop material has this back piece here and this little lip on the front. Now, if you're putting this up against a wall, you want that there. However, I'm trying to turn this all into an island that can wheel around and be in the middle of the room, which means these will be in the way, and I need to figure out a way to remove them without ruining the material itself, which will be difficult because, and even on a table saw, I could easily slip and mess it up. So I need to be very careful. Now, usually on a table saw, there are a bunch of guides and, jigs and stuff. Unfortunately, all I've got is this guy, which is so short, it won't actually help me. So I now get to break a bunch of safety regulations because I don't have the stuff to do it. Fortunately, I am in my own garage, so OSHA doesn't matter. However, my fiance is literally right over that way, not too far. And if blood starts flying everywhere, she'll be mad. Especially since I'm making this for her. Alright, I've got my initial cuts done. So now it's literally just a slab of material. Admittedly, I wish it could have been bigger, but it's what they had. So, next, get some numbers and start cutting the 2x4s, which should be dry. Dry enough. Alright. That looks like 22 and a half. It's down to 22 and a quarter. So I did not make my cuts very square. Now for the fun part of figuring out how to cut this, because the only saws I have are the table saw and a sawzall. And a sawzall is not a good choice for this job. To be fair, neither is a table saw. So, I just did 2 cuts, one a little bit wider than the first, because since I'm cutting such a big piece on a table saw, it's easier to cut down so I have less material to work with and then hit a fine tuning cut last. Technically, if I were to do it optimally, I would have a belt sander and I would do it on that, because belt sanders are awesome for stuff like that. However, I don't have one and they're expensive, so it's not really worth it for this project to get one yet. Someday. So this is something that I will admit is a bit excessive, but if you look right here on this board, I don't know how well it really shows up on camera. See all these frayed ends here? I personally find that quite annoying. Fortunately, files exist. I have a more aggressive rasp somewhere, but for the life of me, I don't know where I put it. Measuring inside of this. All right, so roughly 19. If I make it 19, there will be a little bit of overhang, but I should be able to clean that up no problem. / it shouldn't be that far out, so it shouldn't be that big a deal. Here's to hoping. Why am I measuring this on the floor? I've got my truck right there. I can just use the truck bed. Also, I'm an idiot. You know how I was saying I can't find my rasp? Look what was a few inches away from me, sitting under a piece of paper. My rasp. I am very smart. And I'm just going to test and see if this actually fits like I think it will. Actually, yes. As you'll see, I don't know how well, again, I don't know how well it shows up on camera. There's a little bit of a lip right here and right here. And that's honestly, considering what it is exactly I'm doing, that's not bad. I can work with that. So we need to cut another piece of that. Also, my camera is telling me that its battery is dying. So I'm going to go get life support for this thing. All right. So since I'm trying to make this into a box shape, I have this tool that I actually got because I was trying to do something at work and it wasn't working and it was irritating me, so I picked it up at Harbor Freight. But since I bought it, it's mine, so I can use it on stuff like this. Basically, this is 2 clamps that are set at 90 degrees from each other. Reason? Stuff like this. Basically, this will hold these two boards at a 90-degree angle, or at very least really close to it. So for initial putting things together, it'll really help. So now I'm going to assemble this box separate to the lid and get it as close to squared up as I possibly can. And then from there, figure out attach the top to the box that I'm making now, and figure out the legs. Alright, so I've got the base built there, which actually, I call it the base because it's the base of what I'm working on, but not the base of the final result. Anyway, so next I need to let the autofocus do its job. There we go. So I need to figure out how to make legs out of this. Yeah, basically, for the sake of illustration, I'll use this piece of drop. I'm going to screw pieces in like that. Then I'll have some angled braces going this way for stability. Because if I don't, it's going to wobble around like fresh made spaghetti. And I don't need that. Alright, I want the final result of this to be about the same height as the existing counter. So I need to get a measurement on that. And then need to go out there. I'm going to need to measure how high the casters are, how thick the top is, and then subtract that from the number I get from here, and then that will be the final height for this project. It's 35.5 inches. So now I need to get the rest of my numbers. So we have 35.5 inches. Next, the height of the casters, which are 2.5 inches. This 2 and 2 inches. Next, we need the height of this piece right here, which appears to be at 1 inch. Three-quarters of an inch, actually. So, minus 3/4 of an inch, which gets you a final result of 32 and 1/4 of an inch. Alright, I'm going to be honest. I don't want to deal with how long this is, and since I'm doing 2 cuts anyway, I think I'm going to go grab my Sawzall for the rough cut, and then use the table saw for the finish cut, because the Sawzall can handle how long this is without me feeling like I'm going to chop my fingers off. Now I have 4 legs on this thing. Here's the thing. I gotta say, I am really surprised. This thing is a lot more stable than I expected. I still want to put some side braces on it. It's honestly not bad. Honestly, I am really impressed. So I'm gonna figure out the side braces and then attach wheels.
All right. So, as far as those cross braces go, I've got 2 choices. One is I've been using for the rest of this project, I've got these 2x4s, right? But, due to another project, I have these guys, which are thinner, lighter weight. Yeah. Still a little bit thick, but honestly, I don't think it's bad.
Alright, so my memory card filled up and I had to go inside and take care of that, which means now it's dark outside. So lighting, which has been a bear this entire video, is harder. But
I do have all these cut. Now it's time to install them.
old wood. Okay, camera seems to be working. All right, so what I'm gonna do, so on one side, putting these 2, the other side putting these 2. This is probably the most straightforward part of this entire operation. I am almost done. All right. It works. The only trick is one piece is not as low as the other, so the locking isn't 100% effective. But I think I could make it work. Honestly, it feels pretty solid though. So I'll take it. I'm gonna put it in the kitchen and then get Abby. Yes, I know it's not Christmas, but she has known this is coming all along. She knew I was making it today, and I asked her if she wanted me to hide it until Christmas or if she wanted to be able to use it in the meantime. And she kind of sheepishly was like, I mean, you can wrap it on Christmas, but I want to be able to use it. So, gonna put it in the kitchen. I'm gonna get Abby, and then we will see if she likes it.
Oh, very nice.
It's a little wobbly. I can fix it. My apologies. I am only one guy with limited tools. But it's easy enough to fix. I just need to shim up the one wheel.
Alright. Thank you.
Yeah, so let me give you a walkthrough of the specs. It is about that tall, and it has wheels. Now, note, only 2 of them are actually casters, so these 2 are fixed.
Okay.
But I put locking casters on this side, so once I fix that one, you'll be able to lock it in place.
Very nice. Thank you, baby.
Sorry, it's not as big as the original plan, but it'll do.
You know, it'll do it. It seems like you could probably, in the future build it out.
Yeah, or just make a more expanded version.
Yeah.
See ya.
But for now, this'll do. I have a place where I can chop my veggies.
Yay.
And
just wanted a little workspace, and this is a very good start. I absolutely love it. Thank you.
Yay.